Common sense prevails. The House of Representatives is set to repeal the COVID vaccine mandate for military members as part of the annual defense bill. House Minority Leader and Speaker candidate Kevin McCarthy joined Fox News Sunday and said this is the start of what's to come under a Republican-led House.
In a meeting with the president, I laid out very clearly what the difference will be with the new Republican majority. And we're working through what is the NDA, the National Defense Bill. We will secure lifting that vaccine mandate on our military, because what we're finding is they're kicking out men and women that have been serving. But come next week, you'll see that we've been able to. And that's the first victory of having a Republican majority. And we'd like to have more of those victories, and we should start moving those now.
The bill stopped short of reinstating troops who were discharged or who had their benefits slashed for refusing to get the jab. So what's stopping Congress from doing all that? Joining me now to discuss, Kentucky Republican Congressman and House Judiciary Committee member. Let's get sassy with Thomas Massie.
Hey, Tom. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thank you. Look, you were ahead of the curve on this. As far as I know, I think you tried to stop this thing before it even happened. Am I right?
That's right. 2 months before they implemented the military COVID vaccine mandate, I got news from whistleblowers that they were being advised to push paper and make this happen. So I introduced H.R. 3860. We've worked hard over the last year. We've got 92 co-sponsors on this bill, and it sounds like most of the language of that bill is going to make it into the NDAA. I have assurances from our leadership as recently as just a few hours ago on the floor, but we don't have the final bill text. And you're right, Tom. It doesn't go far enough, but let's take what we can get. We should be reinstating everybody that were pushed out wrongly, but we should also end the vaccine mandate, that the CMS has implemented for hospitals and anybody that receives Medicaid and Medicare. We should end all the mandates, but this is a great start.
Yeah, so you have, I took a swipe at Republicans in the last segment because I thought that they whiffed on COVID, except for a few key people like yourself, like Senator Rand Paul. I don't know what they put in the water in Kentucky, I guess freedom. But when you're talking to your fellow lawmakers, did you have any conversations? Because I was following you on Twitter and you were outraged the whole time. Did you talk to your fellow lawmakers and say, guys, what the heck are you doing? We have given up more liberty in this 1 year than ever in my lifetime.
Oh, absolutely. They tried to suspend the Constitution in March of 2020. That's when I made them all come back to Washington, D.C. and vote on that first $2 trillion package. I said, guys, this is a big transfer of wealth from the middle class to Wall Street and bankers, and the $1,200 is the cheese in the trap. And I have a little more credibility up here than I had that day. I was the most hated person in Washington, D.C. But now that it's turned out to be right and the inflation and shortages that would come from that have happened, people are listening to me a little bit more. And also on the science of natural immunity, I've been a big proponent of that from the very beginning. I exposed the CDC for lying about the efficacy of the Pfizer vaccine for those who had already had COVID. And this has been something, this is my litmus test for liberty. It used to be the Second Amendment. But now I say, if you're a politician, and you don't understand what's happening in the name of COVID, you don't deserve to be elected.
Yeah, so give me a little update on, I know you were involved in some lawsuits. I think you sued the CDC.
Yes.
Do you have any updates for that? How have your lawsuits and any other lawsuits gone forward? Because I don't think we should stop until every person who was forced to wear a mask, every person who was forced to get a jab, and every person who lost their job file suit against their employers, against their localities. Where have your suits gone?
Yeah, Senator Rand Paul and I and about 20 other congressmen filed a suit against CDC over the airplane mask mandate. Now, another group's file matured before ours, and they got an injunction. And so that's why you don't have to wear masks on airplanes right now. But we filed an amicus brief in their case since it's moved quicker than ours. And would you believe it? Joe Biden is still fighting to implement masks on airplanes. The people have moved on, but he's fighting us in court to keep that mandate. And it's just not constitutional. The other lawsuit that I have is against Nancy Pelosi on her mask mandate in the House. She actually reduced our salaries for refusing to wear the mask. We think that's a violation of the 27th Amendment, and we're ready to go to the Supreme Court to prove it.
I love it. John, now, before you go, I do follow you on Twitter. Tell me why I should drink raw milk.
Oh, it's great for your digestive system. I can't go into all the details here, but it is healthy for you. And it tastes like freedom, frankly. It tastes like liquid ice cream. It's so great. People who haven't tried raw milk haven't really tried milk.
Congressman, thank you so much.
Thanks. No pasteurization without representation. Thank you.
All right, coming up.